guys, it's Eric here at Farpoint Farms. Check it out, another portable power station sent my way. If you've been following my channel for any length of time, you know I am a huge advocate of this type of power. When power goes out, not if, but when it goes out, you got two conventional choices. You've got a gas or diesel powered backup generator, or you have a portable power station like this that can be charged off of three different things: gas, solar, or shore power, 120 power here in the US. That's what makes these more versatile than a gas generator, which only runs on gas. So I'm going to go ahead, we'll get the camera a little closer and we'll unbox this, we'll check it over, and I'll continue to talk to you about why it is I think you should have one of these in your home. Let's do it. All right, this is a fairly big size one here, and I'll just go ahead and get everything out. Oh yeah. And we'll lay it all out and we'll take a look at it here after the fact. Oh, nice. Okay. All right, well, here we go. I didn't have a whole lot to unpack here. Very well packed, I would say. So nice grab handles on this one. I like that. Seriously, these are pretty heavy. This is 1600 watt power output, a little less than 1600 watt hours. So 160 amp hours, which is a lot. 100 amp hour battery is a good amount of battery. You're looking at almost two of those stuffed in here somehow. I'm not sure how that works out, but it does. And it has some cautions up top. Do not store device together with coins, jewelry, keys, or other metal objects. How weird. Keep away from heat. What the heck? There are some really interesting warnings on this one, talking about mental illness. There's all kinds of stuff, man. I don't know. But if you're suffering from the effects of mental illness, apparently you should not use this. So let's go ahead and go through this nice box that came with it. And we have here, it's just looks like our connectors. And it did come with a good assortment of connectors and a very small manual. Get all this out. Okay, so shore power. If we're going to recharge it, looks like we've got the ability right here with a 15 amp breaker. It's on board. So all the equipment we need, we're just going to have a cable to go with it. I kind of like that more than the power packs that come with most of these. Then of course we have a 12 volt cigarette lighter, DC in, plug that into our regular car while we're driving down the road. We can recharge it. And then we have solar in, which is going to be that style there with conventional solar outlets on the back. So hook it up to a 100 watt panel or get a splitter and hook it up to multiple panels. And that is what I would recommend for a device this size, that to get the best use out of this, unless you're just going to be using it so rarely that it doesn't matter. You probably want to get more than one panel if you're going to be using this. Okay, so let's take a look at our specs here. I've got the manual here. Portable power station model number 1600. It's kind of a trifold thing. Talks about what it comes with, what all the little doodads do. But here's what I care about is these specifications here. So 16 kilograms, so not a lightweight unit. Again, the carry handles really help with that. AC charge. For AC input, we are looking at 800 watts plus or minus 200 watts. So that's a lot of juice that it can take on the inside. Input for the XT60 is a maximum of 500 watts. So we can really put in some good solar. So 400 watt solar array would be perfect for this. You could even go bigger than that. And then DC direct put input, so that would be through your 12 volt DC plug. That's looking at 240 watts max. AC output, you have 4 separate AC ports, and you are looking at a maximum output power of 1600 watts. This is important. Peak 3000 watts. 3000 watts. So definitely has enough surge power to start an AC unit. Now I don't know how long you'd be able to run it, but think about this, and this is something that again is really nice about these. I have 400 watts of solar going into this. I have an AC unit that requires 600 watts, right? And I have the 3000 watt surge power, so I'm able to get the AC unit started, and if I have 400 watts coming into it, I'm only actually using 200 watts per hour out. So you can actually run AC units off of these small AC units. So that's something for you to think about. And then DC output, 100 watt out on the USB-C, 18 watts out on the USB-A, 130 watts out on a regular car socket, and 39 watts out on the direct line out that it has. So pretty cool there. Let's see what else we got here. And it just says operating instructions, charge and discharge, and then AC function out, and so on and so forth. Pretty much self-explanatory when it comes to that. As far as the main unit, she's a heavy girl. You got exhaust venting here. This is something I liked. I saw this in the instructions and was like, oh cool, we have a ground terminal. Unscrew that, you can ground this out to a ground rod, and that offers you an extra level of protection for your equipment, an extra level of protection for the unit. So very cool. On the back side, no light on this one, just your information, the TB1600, and then most of the stuff we just covered. They're just going over that again. Pure sine wave is what it claims and advertises, and another vent for our heating and or discharge of our heat from the inverter process and charging process. All right, when we look at this beautiful thing right here, DC out, we have our cigarette lighter output and a regular 12 volt output there. Input, we already showed solar in and 120 in, as well as DC in. Our bottom row has grounded outlets, 4 of them. I think this is the first unit I've looked at that actually has grounded units, so that's a really nice added piece of functionality, especially if you're using radio gear. And a lot of my listeners and viewers love to get into ham and CB and emergency preparedness in general. The ability to have a properly grounded radio is very important, especially if you want to have a low noise floor. And then we have a variety of USB ports over here. To power the unit up, press and hold. Nice color display. 48% charge is what it came with from the factory. We have input and output wattages. We have how many hours it will operate at the current consumption. There we go. And it kicks on. You can hear the fans come on. Press and hold the USB. And now that's activated. Press and hold DC out. So we can run all 3 at the same time. You can see the plug is now lit, the input is now lit, the USB is now lit, everything is now powered up, right? Cool. Well, let me go ahead. I want to plug this into an outlet and we'll see just how much she's charging. I'll lower the camera down a second because it needs to be charged up as the day goes on anyway. You never want to park these things in a closet or wherever you store them on half charge, because when you need it, you're going to be happy that it's fully charged. Plugging that in, let's see what she jumps up to as far as charging voltage. Wow, okay, so that is a whole lot of amperage. This thing will charge very quickly at 800 watts. So it is serious about the fact that on 12 volts, or I mean on 120, this thing will charge very rapidly, very rapidly. Go ahead and remove that. If that's, I don't know if that's making it better or worse, but we'll take that off. Wow. And you can hear the fan come on to indicate that it has started charging. And that's it. So I'm going to turn off my DC, I'm going to turn off my AC, I'm going to turn off my USB, and we'll just let that thing charge for the next who knows how long. Look, I've made enough of these videos that you should know this by now, but you know, we live in a weird world. You know, if I'm going to be honest with you, we live in a pretty scary world right now, where a lot of things, especially here at home in the United States, aren't the way they used to be. Life is changing, people are changing, prices are changing. Life is changing. It's not a bad idea to get your hands on something like this. And if I may be so bold as to recommend something larger like this one, as opposed to a 600 watt unit or even an 800 watt unit, this is going to give you more reserve capacity, more ability to run multiple items, and better charge times, because some of the lower ones, they'll only take 100 watts in or sometimes 200 watts in. This is taking 500 watts in. That's a pretty enormous size system if you really think about it. 500 watts in is going to charge this thing a whole lot faster than a single 100 watt panel. Awesome. Well, I guess that'll do it. It's the Yolaness. I cannot even begin to pronounce that name, so I won't try. But it's a power pack. I will leave a link to where you can find your own. And it's one that I would consider mainly above the rest because of the fact that unlike every other one that I've ever checked out, this one has actual grounds. And I appreciate that. Till next time, my friends, take care.